Hey everybody, it's Tiff
And Mike.
and welcome to Full Circle Health Talk. And today we're talking about a healthy mindset and surroundings. And I think it's important to start this session with talking about what the mind is. The mind isn't just your brain matter. Your mind is that part of you that when you observe something, you think, you reason, you perceive, you have feelings about it, and then based on that, you move and act. So the thing that we want to discuss today is how a healthy mind and healthy surroundings can really ensure an optimal way of living. So now with a healthy mindset, usually comes healthy judgment. And let's face it, a lot of our unhealthy people are making unhealthy choices.
Yeah.
And it's just usually because the mindset is unhealthy. It's not rocket science. The better and healthier you think, the better your decisions and your quality of life is going to be. But then there's this thing called life that we live
Yeah.
and the wonderful people in it.
All right.
And there's work, and then there's home, and then it's all of these different things that we must now learn to work in to this mindset that is very unique to us as individuals. My mindset is going to be different from Mike's mindset.
Yeah.
It's going to be different from your mindset. And how we perceive and act and do things, they're all going to be very unique to our minds based on our life experience.
Yeah.
So now, when we talk about the mind, we talk about like those 4 stages of awareness.
Yeah.
In our book here, our life book, we call it the 4 stages of competency.
Right.
So Mike is going to tell you what those 4 competencies are because I don't know them by heart, but he explains them so well. So
Yeah.
we have the 4,
Yeah.
and one is called the unconscious incompetent.
Right. I like to quick way to explain that to say that's like it's like your blind spots of life. You know, you have blind, so you're not even aware this is going on. It's going on in the background. A good analogy would be, hey, you're in a car and you have something in your rearview mirror that something's not picked up there, like there's a car or a truck there, and you move over to the lane, you're like, oh my God, where did that come from? Those are the things in our life that are really like this. It's an unconscious and, you know, incompetence, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's just where it is. So you're like automatically autopilot doing something unconscious. That will be the best way to describe
Yeah. And now there's the conscious incompetent.
Yeah, right. So now the point is that now you're aware of this thing is happening, but you don't know what action steps to take, right? So now you're getting feedback from left or right. Sometimes your environment affords you feedback, something's not going well in your life that's going on. You're getting some type of feedback to make choices from. And now, but you're aware of this thing is happening, but you're not fully empowered to make decisions to change. So you don't have competency yet.
Yeah. So just because we have 2 more, those 2 compare because they're both both have the word incompetent in it, which means there's a level of unawareness in which you operate. The first one, you're oblivious to being oblivious.
Yeah.
And then the second one is, I know there's something wrong, but I don't know how to change it. That's like that doctor's visit when you know your diet is bad.
Yeah.
And your doctor has to diagnose you with something and then tell you all of a sudden, this is a problem. You go, you know, I was kind of thinking that for a while.
Yeah.
That's the conscious incompetent. So now let's see, what is next? The conscious competent. Now we're getting to competency here.
Now we're getting to a point. It's like, all right. Now you've gotten to a point where you've taken some action steps and you got some coaching around it, right? And so now you're getting some practice steps, sort of like what we're doing here, having conversation to give you some conscious competencies around mindset, right? And so this is exactly what that is. It's like, all right, now I got some action steps to start doing some things consciously and I'm aware I'm doing it, and I'm doing it intently.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's what we would for stage 3.
Yeah. Now, and that's kind of like, okay, now I got the diagnosis from my doc, and I know this is a problem, so I'm going to probably start changing my eating habits. Yeah. I'm going to start doing more healthy activity.
I'm going to drink more water.
Going to drink more water.
Yeah.
Pause for the cause. So now that's the conscious competency. It's intentional. Mm-hmm. It is something that you're aware of, and you are taking those first steps, because it's not necessarily habitual just yet. Mm-hmm. But we're getting there, because the last thing, the icing on the cake that we all want to be, is unconscious competent.
Right. Yeah, I mean, a great analogy is just like brushing your teeth, right? You have different things that happens where you don't need to be told by your mother, and nobody needs to call you, you need to set no timer. It's just you have this competency, hey, look, I'm going to brush my teeth for you, for that effective hygiene, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's like one example of it. But the point of that, to your point, you say habitual, it's a habit formation. Basically, you have it where your habits will inform that reality of competency. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you don't even have to think about it.
Yep, exactly. So like for me, my unconscious competent is that I love going to the gym. Mm-hmm. Like I could really not necessarily have, it's like some people need, like, I didn't have the energy to go to the gym. I don't necessarily even have to have the best energy. I will get into the gym, and then my energy sometimes will actually pick up, because I actually enjoy going. It's one of those things where when you go out to eat, you make healthier choices when you're out, because you already know that, all of that oil, it translates into other processes. Like you can end up with upset stomach, weight gain, and how your body actually has to be working a little harder to process those foods then goes into your overall energy level. So it's like having more of a unconscious desire to make healthier choices. It just comes naturally for you. It's a part of your makeup. It's innate. No one has, like Mike said, no one has to force you to do it. And that's called unconscious. You do it without really thinking. No one has to tell you, salad or cookies. You're like, oh, that salad looks good, that type of thing. So, and or you'll say, you'll go for the sugar-free option, or, well, that's a whole nother conversation now. Yeah. Sugar-free isn't always that, but but overall, what we're trying to say is that this becomes more of a habitual, innate thing that comes organically from you without a second thought. Right. Excuse me. And then these things then transfer into our whole lives. When we operate from, and I'd say even find the conscious competent or the unconscious competent, because new situations are going to arise where you have to respond intellectually based on what your preferences are, the changes you're making, and the shifts you're looking to make in your life. So there's going to be times where you have to be conscious competent in a new area, as opposed to something you do habitually on a regular basis. But they transition into all aspects of your life. And this is where we get into the surroundings, because when we think about surroundings, I think about myself, I'm very, very much a spiritual person, so I think about my spirit inside this environment. Yeah. So I think about this environment of my body. I think about the environment in which I work. I really create a peaceful environment. I think about my relationships in which I go out, and just the type of people I want to be around. Do they encourage me to make healthy choices? Do they encourage me to do things that are unhealthy? And these are things that I consciously am aware of. So if I go out somewhere and I have to make a conscious, competent move of, oh, you know what? These guys are doing this. I'm not really feeling that, so I'll go over here. Right. And each situation in our life is going to have us apply those skills. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a piece about that, like just to unpack like what you're talking about. It's like even the term being a human being, we don't always operate that way, right? We operate sometimes as human doings, you know, and so we just do these things and everything like that, but we're not present to how we be, right? You know, and so that our being does inform what we have and what we do, but we operate kind of like we do things to have something to be. But that's the different point of the conversation. But it's kind of like to the core of it, yeah. You know, it's always even a simple question just to start would be like, am I being a human being, or am I being a human doing?
Very simple. Approaching it with a certain sense of awareness of yourself within this space, and am I being reactive or am I responding? Am I letting this situation pull me off of my pattern? Am I letting this situation cause me emotions that have me operate below the line as opposed to above the line, and being empowered to say, you know what, I can control my actions and how I think and feel and respond to this, and not let these external triggers then affect me to make choices that end up hurting me more than anything else. So now, you know, there's a lot of ways to be mindful of how you are operating within this whole mindset and surroundings soup here. So when we think about it, there's things that happen every day in life. You can make a decision to do something positive, and let's say that's every day. And every day there's going to be external things happening in the world, and there's things that you can do on a daily basis to check in with your mindset and have an awareness in advance of what you want to apply to this day. Clear thinking, good judgment, healthy emotions, and reflect that onto those that you interact with. So we were talking about taking a daily inventory. Sitting with yourself at least once a day, ideally in the morning before you start your day, because everyone's day is different. Checking in with yourself, seeing how you're feeling, and deciding what type of day this is going to be, no matter what. You are in control, you have the power, and we operate above the line. That's just what we do. Also, avoiding traps.
Yeah.
Avoiding those traps. We all know that, what's that famous phrase? The pathway to hell was paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, don't put yourself in positions that can potentially make you compromise the decisions that you've made.
Right.
You know, if you want to go and lose weight, hanging out with your friends that like to go to the buffet all the time, it's probably not going to be a good decision.
Strong possibility on that.
Yeah, strong possibility on that.
Yeah.
Hanging out with your friends that have other bad habits.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, for instance, if you go, like, I think about hanging out with friends. This is the time of year. It's getting warm outside. People are doing barbecues and things like that. The beauty about barbecues and things like that, there's plenty of things to do. You don't always have to just eat badly.
Right.
Or drink and things like that. Socialize, talk, communicate, engage in things that are more positive. You know, if it's some place where you can get an activity going. I'm definitely queen of, if there's something to do in somebody's yard, I'm as good as there. Like, if you got kids, I'll probably play with your kids.
Wow.
I like that kind of stuff because it just kind of gets me moving around.
Yeah.
You know, when we go to friends and family, a lot of times we can just sit around and socialize. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But if I can move around, especially if it's a nice day. But just avoiding those traps, avoiding those people, situations, and environments that can knock us off the path and have us unintentionally operate below the line, or intentionally.
A simple way of saying it is like, you are who you hang around.
Yes.
Like I always say, you are what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
You are who you hang around. And so there's things that, you see, we're always in control, right? And you see those things about it. It's like, all right, not to say you need different friends, but you could have a conversation to cause different decision making on your part and your friend's part. So, yeah. So.
And I mean, I think the realness of it is we're programmed for connection. We want to be around people. We want to be loved. We want to be accepted. And that is a large portion what affects a lot of the choices that we make. So, with that being said, recognize that the proper environments and relationships and connections are going to give you a longer life.
Yeah.
And it's never too late to shift things. Check in with yourself daily. Make sure that you're not holding on to any baggage. And if you are, work at it. Don't substitute something that's going to compromise your values, your goals, like comfort foods, alcohol, any type of drugs that will take you off of your pattern and punish your body as opposed to empower it.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, just to say, hey, don't do it by yourself. Create a structure that gives you power to make these decisions. One of the things sometimes we like to do this everything on our own, and just like we talked about those 4 stages of competency, you may not even know. So you may not have access to where it is. And it comes from that feedback, then coaching, to really get what you need. So if you find something not working, start asking at least your people in your environment, about what's happening, and receive the feedback, as feedback, not criticism.
Yeah. And go places where the people are operating in the energy you want to grow in.
Yeah.
So social events, healthy events. I know I got commissioned for the Broad Street Run. I don't know. I know you're doing it maybe next year.
Yes.
So I don't know. I've never done it.
You're going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it.
So here we go. But put yourself around those people that are going to propel you into the direction you want to go. And I can guarantee you they'll never steer you wrong. They may even call you on that crazy stuff you're doing on the side, like, you do that? Why? No, it's not good. So I'm telling you, you want friends that are going to hold you accountable to the goals that you set for yourself, not keep you in that area in which you're trying to break yourself free. So with that being said, I hope you found this informative. Please feel free to give us any feedback. We're always here. And let us know if you want us to touch on a specific topic. We're more than happy, and we'll do it to the best of our capability. But until next time,
Until next time.
we'll see ya.